quick like side note. So like talk about like with his stories and everything. This was this year, like those media like kind of like meetings you do, the TV production meetings. I had so they're Friday, so it's everyone's like, oh, it's Fast Friday, like let's kind of get out of here. Like my Fridays, like I'm doing all my body work. Like I got like two,
Yes.
3 hours worth of body work stuff. I remember finishing. I text like our media guy, like, hey, like just finished up. He's like, yeah, Sean's still going. I think it was like another hour and a half. And like Sean's went after practice. It was like 4.5 because like him and Nance are like best buds, like with
Yeah.
Romo. And then I start, and then he like came back and he's like, "Oh, I forgot one more story." And I was like, "I just want to go to John. I need to go to. I got my family. I want to go to bed."
Welcome to the Greenlight Podcast presented by BetMGM. If you haven't signed up for BetMGM yet, use bonus code Greenlight, and you will get up to a $1,500 first bet offer on your first wager with BetMGM. Here's how it works. Download the BetMGM app and sign up using bonus code Greenlight. Deposit at least $10 and place your first wager on any game. If that bet loses, you will receive up to $1,500 in bonus bets. Just make sure you use bonus code Greenlight when you sign up. Broncos Country. Let's ride.
Let's fly.
You were supposed to say that.
I'm sorry.
Whatever y'all say, you were supposed to say. Cowboy Reed had a big part in today's podcast because we had Zach Allen. And a little background, Zach Allen's one of my favorite players, especially because of the way he played this past year. Over 40 QB hits in a season, 8.5 sacks, an interior guy, played 964 snaps. Like, he's just a machine. That's the kind of thing. Back in the day, we used to have to play a lot of snaps. And they've gone to this more rotation model in the NFL. And it's fun to see every once in a while you get a guy that just is saying, hey, fuck, dude, I'll do it. I'll take all the snaps. Put it all on me. Like, it kind of becomes a point of pride, and I can't tell you how much I respect Zach Allen for as hard as he plays the game and as much as he played the game. He missed a game this season and still almost had 1,000 snaps. That's rare. And that 40 quarterback hits in a season puts him in really rare air. Love watching Denver's defense. I could make a case for, obviously, PS2 is the straw that stirs the drink. But up front, even with all those really, really good players, Nick Bonito, who came on and people talked about him like a DPOY candidate, I think Zach Allen is the guy that makes it go, with respect to everybody else. And after talking to him, had never talked to him, just DM'd with him a couple times, I just think the guy's great. Could have lined up next to him, and I'd have probably sat next to Zach Allen on the plane. You know how I know this? Because after we finished the fucking interview, we talked for another 20 minutes offline, and that just doesn't happen much. So just a great guest, somebody we've been waiting to get on. We love the Broncos. Cowboy Reed legitimately loves the Broncos. He would marry the Broncos. Have we asked Denver Broncos fans this luxury suite?
Sweet, we have not.
Oh, this is perfect because this is my go-to. All right. Denver fans, if you had a suite to the biggest game of the season at Mile High Stadium, they don't call it that anymore, do they? What do they call it now? Like some banking term. What is it? Invesco Field?
Yeah, in Power. Well, it's still in Power Field at Mile High.
So named after a retirement company. This is the dumbest. NFL, stop doing this shit. It should be called Mile High, pure and simple. But you have a luxury suite at Mile High for the biggest game of the season. You have 5 tickets that you can fill your suite with, and they have to be former Broncos. And what we're doing here is we want good players, but we want vibes too. So they could be your favorite player growing up, or they could be somebody that you thought was just an electric hang. Who would it be? I would put Brandon Lloyd in there. Brandon Lloyd, I played with him in St. Louis. Brandon Lloyd used to walk his cats around the neighborhood on a leash. My kind of guy. If you're going to own a cat, do that. I'd probably put Brandon Lloyd in there. I enjoyed hanging out with Aqib Talib. We were draft mates, and we go way back to the Rookie Symposium, 2008. So yeah, those are a couple of names I'd put in there. Probably Jake Plummer, right? Jake Plummer's fantastic.
He can bring a couple shrooms to
He can bring the
to the
boomers. He
hang.
can bring the boomers. You know why he's there. You know why I'm here. And I'll leave the next two to your imagination. But y'all need to fill this suite with 5 Broncos all time, current all time. Who's it going to be? Thanks for listening to the pod. We got a really good 45-minute kind of hang with Zach Allen here. And you know, do me a favor, Broncos fans, because we are trying to grow this little podcast. If you know people who might not listen to this podcast and are Broncos fans, I'm going to be shameless. Send this motherfucker to 5 people. Send it to 5 people, or something bad will happen to you. You know those things on the internet where they send you something really stupid and they're like, hey, send this to 100 people or you're going to get run over by a car. That's the kind of juju I'm putting on you. Send this to 5 people, please. Thank you for listening. Broncos Country.
Let's fly.
All right, this is cool. This is one of our favorite players in the league. I'm not going to bullshit you. This is a guy we're always pulling for and we love watching play. Zach Allen of the Denver Broncos, especially Cowboy Reed's site. Welcome to the show, Zach.
Yeah, appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, dude. Great having you on. The first question that I wanted to ask is, how does a guy get second team All Pro, but they don't put him on the damn Pro Bowl roster? What's your reaction when you hear that news?
Yeah, so because the Pro Bowl came out first, and I think the voting closed like the couple days before we played Cincinnati, and then I guess that was kind of my big national breakout game. So, when it came out, I kind of had a feeling like, you know what, like, not as big of a name. My big game kind of came later in the year. Like if I had that week 3 or something like that, then maybe it'd be a different kind of story. But no, everyone like reached out, really supportive. But I told them like, look, honestly, like if I get All Pro, like all's forgiven, type of thing. So the fact that I got that was pretty special. But yeah, no, the Pro Bowl thing, obviously it sucks. Like you grow up dreaming of wanting to go and everything like that. But it was actually kind of interesting because I was just curious. I was looking up and like guys that I looked up to growing up that played the position, like Fletcher Cox, Gerald McCoy, guys like that. And like, it's actually kind of pretty consistent. It's like they made All Pro before they made Pro Bowl. So it's kind of like you just got to break out. And then, maybe hopefully I could steal one on the back half of my career when I don't deserve it. So we'll see.
That's the way, bro. That's so real though. Like, sometimes it is. And you mentioned All Pro as the catalyst for why you might get it the next year or whatever. But like sometimes just getting in the Pro Bowl once will get you in the second and third time. So if you can just get that first one, and I mean, you pointed out a really interesting thing. You went off right after the voting. I think the most important time of the year is the end of the year, and who's playing their best ball in December. So I think it's kind of like a missed opportunity for the league to highlight players that are playing their best at the end of the year, doing the voting ahead of that period.
Yeah, because I mean, I think there's a lot of, I don't think I'd be pretty shocked if you found anybody that's kind of like saying they're doing it probably 100% the right way, whether it's with the voting or the events itself. Like, there's probably a lot that needs to change and get improved. But yeah, like you'd say, you'd wish guys kind of had that full body of work. Because I remember my last year in AZ with Jay. I think he had like last 3 weeks, like you said, December. I think he had like 6 or 7 sacks, something crazy, and ended up with like 12, 13 sacks in his final year. And he's a big name, and he didn't make it. Like, obviously, Arizona's not a big market, but you'd think J.J. Watt, the 12-sack year, would get in. So, yeah, it's just, I don't know. Yeah, like you said, like you would kind of wait to see guys play. Like, there's still like 2-3 more games, but
yeah. Well, I think the most important thing is, dude, everybody knows you were unstoppable this year. I mean, like, I just want to read you a stat. I don't know if you know this, if you heard this stat, but here are the players with 40-plus hits since 2006 in a single season. J.J. Watt, T.J. Watt, Nick Bosa, Aaron Donald, Zach Allen. How's that sit?
Yeah, no, I think, anytime you could be throwing up with those guys, it's pretty special. And honestly, like, it's funny because I feel like when the hits were going on, everyone's like, wow, like, look at all these hits, look at all these hits. I'm kind of like, well, fuck, like let me get some some sacks out of them, just get like one or two of
Yeah.
them turn into a sack. But honestly, it's funny because now like I'm starting to like watch the tape back, everything like that. Just the guys that we were rushing with, like there's times where like literally we're cutting each other off. Like there's one play in Cincinnati where like Nick Benito hit an inside stab and he's coming over and like at the last second I like boxed him out. Like anybody on any play could kind of get it. So when you rush with four guys, it's awesome. But also too, quarterbacks know they got to get the ball out or you're just gonna, you know, you're gonna lose out on the race to somebody else. But no, it's pretty special. And yeah, the big goal right now is just to kind of make sure it wasn't like a one-time thing. Kind of get the repeatability out of that. I think maybe Jay was the only one on that list that probably did it a couple times or something like that. So we'll see how it plays out. Yeah.
Listen, I think you make a great point that people should understand when it comes to rushers is like sometimes being in a group that's four deep, there's less food to go around. And, guys are winning. And if you play with good players, they might beat you to the ball. And, I remember a bunch of times Robert Quinn running right by me, win a rush clean, and I'm watching Quinn or William Hayes run by or getting boxed out and that type of thing. But you guys rushed really well as a unit. It felt like you could trust y'all's group to rush for and go, right? But it also felt like y'all rushed together really well. How long does that take as a unit to get the games down, to get the field down, somebody be the balance up guy, somebody's the speed guy, like whatever it is? How long does that take as a specific group to get that going?
Yeah, I think the big thing was when we signed JFM. So Jay and I, like, we kind of knew of each other, I'd say, like, followed each other on Instagram, kind of both had been working with BT Jordan, kind of, similar crowd, texting each other, like, hey, good job, or something like that, congrats on a contract type of thing.
Yeah.
But then when he came over, really, I think it was like during training camp, we spent a week together in Dallas, and we just kind of started getting a head start of it. And like, I know like with JJ, it kind of took me and him probably like that whole first year to like really learn how to like rush off each other, not to just be like yelling like what we're doing, kind of like almost like just having that second sense of like, hey, like
Yeah.
let's run it now. I'm not even going to communicate anything with or just play off each other. With JFM, that was like third week of camp. Like we were really kind of hitting our stride. It was pretty rare how comfortable we got on the inside. And then with Nick and with Coop, they're so athletic that they can read it like perfectly. Because I'm a guy that likes to play like pretty vertical, pretty quick. But also too, like it's just we had a really unselfish group. Like that was the big thing. Like whoever was getting the center slide, like we knew, like, look, like you got to eat this one. And then we would even try to work, like, like, hey, I'll work inside, and if I get washed, I'll pick for you on that so you
Yeah.
can get a loop. Or, if like Nick was getting chipped, or like on my side, it was like, all right, like let's get you some action too on this, so you're not just getting that. So that was the cool thing. It was like almost like, if you're like pressing for sacks and being selfish, you'll never get them. But if you like go into it with like the right heart and right mindset, like then everybody eats.
Yeah.
So it was pretty special. Yeah. Because teams, they would even try to full turn slide it, block it up with 7-8. And it's like, look, we're rushing with 4. If you got to block us with 8, then we'll be fine. We got Pat Surtain. So
Yeah, that's a big one, dude. That's a big one. That helps to have that guy. And it also helps,
yeah.
I feel like, coming into last year, you guys are all really good players. And, you had an incredible year, as did Nick. And not take anything away from the other guys because they were great too. But there's no, like, quote unquote star yet, right? Like, you guys are all dudes trying to ascend to a level. And so there's nobody that's like, I get to eat all the food. I get the one-on-ones. I want this. I want that. You guys are all working together. That showed on the field.
Yeah, that was a big thing. Was I think it was kind of like, I mean, we're a young team. Like
Yeah.
Jay's the oldest one out of us. He's 28, so that's
Crazy.
not that old. And yeah, like I think it was kind of cool because JFM and I both hit contracts. Nick was young and Coop were young, like trying to hit theirs. So for us, it's like, look, like we got ours. Like just don't screw us over. And they honestly, like, it was just the group's really close. The team's really close. It's really like refreshing. It almost kind of feels like college again. Like
Yeah.
we're always hanging out outside of it, always talking things through. Guys just have the right mindset. It's not like like you said, like you've probably been on teams, I've played with some guys where it's like, look, like we're gaming everything up, and on like the sheet, it's got his number on it. It's like, all right, well, that's great. I'm going from a stand-up zero to a cop outside, like, on the other side of
Yeah,
crossing 6 gaps. Like, this is going to be freaking awesome.
a lot of fun.
Yeah, I'm glad I'm out here,
Yeah.
but there's no, like, it's a good group, and always staying in like even now, like, we're kind of spread out a little bit now, obviously with the off season, always talking, always texting, sending each other ideas. So it's been a lot of fun.
Sending each other memes and shit.
Yeah, just the stupid shit.
Bro, the DLine group chat has to, like, it's a must.
Oh my God. We got some characters, man. We got like Ennie and DJ Jones are two of the funniest teammates I ever had. So like, yeah, I mean, you'll see they a couple guys on our D line. I won't say who, but they did a joint trip to Turkey. So we're gonna have some good hairlines this year. Yeah.
No.
Yeah,
Hey, while we do this interview, I'm gonna try to guess who it might be.
Yeah, you can. Trust me, it ain't gonna be that hard.
It's not gonna be that hard. Okay, that's so funny, dude.
Yeah.
You know that you can get that done in the States, but they just want to go to Turkey.
Yeah, we're a fiscally responsible D line.
There we go.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, hey, we have a D line group chat from 2012, still exists to this day.
That's
so
awesome.
Y'all need to keep that thing going. Hey, Cowboy, I know you had a question about Nick.
Yeah, like another DPOY candidate on your defense. You mentioned he's great to play with. One play in particular, everyone knows it. The Colts, 2nd and 7 from your 40, pass back across the field. He steps right in front of Anthony Richardson. You had a front seat. Like, was he just a blur coming out of your, peripheral vision?
Yeah, well, so they did that. Yeah, they did that throwback pass thing. And I remember, like, my second year in San Francisco against San Francisco, they did that. And I've been with VJ my whole career. So VJ's like, look, if they're rolling out or something, like, I don't need you, roll back. So I think I'm the smartest guy in the world. Like, I'm going backwards. Like, I don't think I'm picking it, but like, oh, I'm going to be like a linebacker, split two, like, like have this sick tackle. And then literally like that, it's just all of a sudden, Nick does the Marshawn Lynch in the end zone. And like, that game was crazy because if we lost that I think Indy, they controlled the destiny, not us. And we had Cincinnati, Charger. Like, we had a tough stretch kind of down the back half, and they had like Tennessee, New York, Jacksonville. So it was kind of
They blew it.
Yeah. Well, and then the craziest thing in that game was Jonathan Taylor dropped the ball.
Yes.
Like, that was like, if they did that, they were up, I think, like 2 or 3 scores. Like, nothing's really going our way.
Last week we were at the draft with Bo Allen, went to Wisconsin. We interviewed Jonathan Taylor with a bunch of other Wisconsin running backs. The first thing, like, Bo said to him in the room, like, hey, Reed's a Broncos fan. And Jonathan Taylor was like, that fucking game, dude. I dropped that ball.
Oh, you were going nuts, Cowboy Reed.
Oh, dude, that was like, I was so sad, and Nate was just like rubbing my back, like, sorry, dude. The ball was on the ground. I was like, let's go.
Did you know, Zach? Did you know when it happened that he dropped the ball? How long did it take y'all to realize that?
Well, so I fucked up. I was on the backside, and I think, like, I just tried to, like, I got that, like, kind of like that bitch block from the tackle because I, like, jab swam Quinn, and I'm thinking go down the line, and then all of a sudden just my hips just get pulled back. And so, like, like, I'm thinking, like, I'm going to make, like, an ankle tackle. Instead, I go like that, and then he just hits it for 50. So we're going to PAT, and I'm just like, I just fucked this up. And then, like, all of a sudden, they're like, we're going to review. And I was like, I didn't think you could do review for holding calls, but hell yeah. And then they're like, no, he dropped the ball. And I was like, are you shitting me? So then, like, that happened. Clearly you can tell, like, there was, like, a different sense of life. And then the next play, I think the rest of the game, I just played a 2-eye. I was like, I'm not going to get cut off backside. Yeah. Like, I'll like anything like that. Yeah, it was crazy.
Dude, that's the worst feeling when they hit it downhill in your gap. It's just like, I don't know. And to get bailed out like that, that's got to be the worst to the best feeling of all time.
Oh, that's the first time in my life I've been bailed out like that. So, like, it was like,
on that.
And then also too, just like the season, like we were all saying, like afterwards, it's like, this kind of makes up for how we lost in Kansas City, because like
Right.
Kansas City was like, oh my God. So it's like there is a God
Oh, how
type of
about,
thing.
bro? Yeah, dude. Take me
Yeah.
back through that whole, because you guys have beaten them in the past couple of years, like last year, right? Like when
Yeah,
you were
last year we
there.
beat them. Yeah.
So you guys look at Kansas City and you don't see like you're not going to treat them like God. You can beat, you respect the fuck out of them, but you can beat them, right? And so
Yeah.
like to get that close, how did it feel to have to walk off the field and say, "Hey man, we blew that."
Yeah, that one, it's funny. So we have a coach, Joe Vitt, the greatest, the best, the absolute best. Like just old school Italian guy, New Jersey, everything. And he said like that game and the Cincinnati game, the way like we lost, or like he said like two in his like top five or top 10, like in his entire life, like craziest he's ever seen. And just to have them in the same season. But yeah, that one. Yeah, I mean, like you said, like we respect Kansas City, obviously with what they've done. Like you can't argue with it. But no, I mean, it's just yeah, like it all starts with 15, and we do our best. I feel like we kind of treat them a little bit different. Obviously we use Nick as the spy a little bit more. Try to win with three, and our DBs, they really understand like kind of, it's not the first act, it's the second act with them. So we do, they play plastered through, they realize it's not a 4 to 6 second down, it's a
Right.
6 to 10 second down. So it's just a mindset, like you said. Yeah, we played them well past 2 years. I don't know if they've ever scored more than like 17, 18 points against us. So, but yeah, no, they just added some good pieces in the draft, so we'll see. But yeah, when the kick got blocked, like I don't know. Like the locker room after, we had a guy, he said, he's like, that locker room kind of felt like, I've never been in a Super Bowl, but he was in San Fran. He's like, that's how it felt when we lost to Kansas City and San Fran, like after the Super Bowl. Cause it's
Yeah.
just like, you're so like, I don't know. I've never been a part of a game like that. That was a tough one. But yeah, I mean,
Conversely,
it
though,
kinda, yeah.
I just wanted to bring up a good memory this year. What do you think was the biggest ass kicking y'all gave somebody this year? And I got an answer in my head, but I don't know if you share the same opinion. Which game did y'all really kick somebody's ass this year defensively?
I was going to say Tampa was a good one. That kind of got our season going.
Tampa was a good
Yeah.
one.
What was your answer? I
The
can't remember.
Jets.
Oh, Jets.
That was
Yeah.
some of the most physical football, and it was in the rain and everything. I just remember they had some pullers and shit, and y'all were just murdering pullers, like
Yeah.
just murdering people.
Well, that whole like leading up, so we go 0-2. Like we played good ball. It just
Yeah.
was like obviously like we had to, like whatever shit happens, but we played good ball. But we're 0-2, and then we're playing Tampa and going west to east. You do the extra night, and then instead of going back to Denver, we did the Greenbrier for the week, and then we're gonna like go into New York. So we were all like, look, and the Tampa just beat Detroit. I think they were 2-0, riding high. We're like, look, we
Yeah.
can't fuck around. We got to get this one. Like, go down there, kick their ass. And then we were like, because we were like, look, we're staying in the Greenbrier for a week. Like, we got to you're not going to, we don't want to like just be, miserable at the Greenbrier. Like, it's already going to be a tough deal.
Come on,
And
the
then,
Greenbrier's not so bad.
oh my God. Well, we were there during a hurricane.
Oh yeah, no, fuck that.
So that was the thing. So the entire week we always laugh because we have a guy PK, Sean's assistant. He always comes up after practice and he gives a weather report through the whole week. So he's like, guys, it's going to be 75, 5% chance of rain, going to be sunny, like in New York, like we're good, we're going to get through that, and it just never stops. So like game day, we're all like, guys, 75% chance, like 75 degrees, 5% chance of, meanwhile, it's just like pouring rain. So it was funny because like just sleeping there was just tough, man. Like, I don't
Is it
know.
haunted?
Like, yeah. And
You think it's haunted?
I don't believe in shit like that. They put all the D-linemen, like the defense, we were all literally right next to the hospital there. So in the middle of the night, I don't know, there was this like screaming. I don't know if it was the hospital. I don't know if it was ghosts. You're eating breakfast in like a bunker, like a atomic bomb structure. It was just like, I don't know. And the people were great. Like we handled it
Fall
well,
to the earth, bro.
but
West
dude,
Virginia.
yeah, man, it was beautiful. I'll say it's beautiful. I mean, it was just raining the whole time, but it
But
was
it's like The
tough, man.
Shining. If you ever
Yeah,
seen The
man.
Shining, it's a very old movie, but like it's about a big
Yeah.
haunted hotel. And
Yeah.
that hotel, we know it because it's not far from us as being haunted. So I'm really interested that you said it was possibly.
Yeah, I don't know. It just felt weird because they're like it's been like a hospital throughout everything. I don't know. It felt weird, and I don't feel that way. So like,
Yeah.
yeah. So by the time we got to New York, we were all like, look, like we were so like just like jacked up, like let's just get this done. And then we go there, and obviously like there was kind of the Sean Hackett stuff, like that was still kind of a thing. And last year they kind of got us, so we wanted to get it back. And yeah, another crazy game. We missed a field goal. They missed a field goal. Like
That was nuts.
it was nuts. Yeah,
That
we
was
were in some
nuts.
crazy ones
That was
this
a
year.
Hall of Fame rock fight, dude. That
Yeah.
like I love a 10-9 game. You know how much I
Yeah.
love watching low scoring games. And that was
Yeah.
my favorite game of the year to watch y'all's defense play. So we said it earlier, we touched on this, 964 snaps, most snaps in the NFL by a defensive lineman, and you missed the game, which is just like much respect for that. I mean, you played great, but like that to me, that's old school shit, and not a lot of guys play that much anymore. Does it have anything to do with where you call home now, Denver? Does that altitude thing really give you an advantage when you go elsewhere? Do you notice it when guys come to Denver? Then you see that monkey jump on their back in the second, third quarter. What do you attribute all that endurance to that you have?
Yeah, I think it's kind of a few things. Like, well, first, I think definitely the altitude. Like when we notice it when we play sea level, it's like you could go for days, and so it definitely affects. I don't know, like other teams, yeah, I'd probably say like third, fourth quarter they run out of gas because I think it's like after that 24-hour mark is when it's like that's when it kind of kicks
Yep.
in, like
Yep.
for being there. So I don't know if any team like when we do the joint practices. First day is like competitive. Second, third day in the preseason game, we're rocking
That's interesting.
because they're there for 4 days. So then after that first day, they're kind of huffing and puffing with it. Um, but no, I just always kind of, it wasn't like intentional. It was just like, look, like I'm feeling fresh. Let me go. Like I'm playing good ball. Kind of like I'm setting stuff up. And then, I changed trainers a couple of years ago to out here in Connecticut to Ben Prentice, Brian Elser, and like the stuff we do. Like we always say, like nobody else is doing this. And honestly, like when I show it to guys or team, like I've had guys reach out, kind of like, hey, after this year especially, hey, what do you do? Like, guy come train with you. I'm
Yeah.
like, look, it's Connecticut in February, March, and April. Like, you're more than welcome to.
Come on
And I
out.
send them the videos, like, and it's just, nobody's taking me up on it.
Well,
So
I
it's,
think part of that's the geography. Everybody likes going to these warm places.
yeah, well,
Yeah.
yeah, and I don't blame them. Like, it's Stamford, Connecticut. It's not exactly like Miami Beach, but
Yeah.
it's great work. A lot of sweat. It's yeah. I mean, we got a really good system going in place, but yeah, it's always funny though because I always joke with JFM and DJ because they're always like, why do you take so many snaps? It's like, well, when I look to come out, I look over and you guys are already at the numbers, so we only have five guys, so it's not like I got a choice.
Hell
So
yeah. Yeah.
so
Yeah.
yeah,
I used to, there's a certain amount of pride you take in doing it. I don't know about you, but like, there's a certain amount of pride in being like, I can do it. Whatever you need me to do, I can do it. And not only that, if you play 30 snaps a game, which happens to everybody, at some point when you're 35, they're going to be rotating you and they're going to be like, hey, Zach, you're too old to do this shit anymore. But you might miss out on some of the instances where they do pat that ball and the hit turns into the sack selfishly, right?
yeah.
Like
That's the
it's
other
not
thing
your
too. Yeah.
choice. It's not your choice when they're going to take their shots.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Every play's an op, so that's the way I look at it. Is like, look, like, like you said, like I've talked to guys. There were definitely teams like, oh, you were out. We knew to throw, like we weren't going to run it as much, type of things like that.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, like makes sense, but I still, every op is something. And then also too, it's like you see guys like Max Crosby. Everyone's kind of talking about their snap count. So this year, like just being like a competitor, it's like, all right, let me do the same thing but do it from a three technique, kind of just just being,
Yeah,
trying to compete with that. And, luckily it paid off and, we're getting the body back.
no
It's feeling
question.
good, ready to do another year of it.
Hey, Zach, you mentioned earlier whole career with Vance Joseph as your DC. How much has that helped you? And then also, like, I'm sure that's helpful in the locker room too. You can help with terminology with the other guys. It helps bring them up to speed, right?
Yeah, no, VJ, it's been awesome. Yeah, we have such a good relationship, especially now. It's funny because my first 4 years in Arizona, like I thought he hated me. I was like a high pick. First 2 years always injured, kind of, he probably, all this stuff, like, but no, like we've had such a good relationship, especially in Denver. Like we just get each other so well. And like you said, like his scheme, it looks like very like a lot and very complicated and everything like that. But honestly, like the way the terminology and everything that the way he teaches it makes a lot of sense. And that's the cool thing too. Now being going into year 7, like this past year and even the year before, like we can have these open and honest conversations of, he's like, hey, I want to put this in, like it's a non-negotiable. We got to get the guys on board with it. It's like,
Right.
sure, let's do it. Or it's the other way where it's like I'm telling him like, hey, we got to kind of take a little bit of stuff out. Like guys kind of feel a little bit over. So like he gets us so well. And I think that's why this year, we were able to play at such a high level because it's like, look, we got the guys, we got the talent. Let's just let them rip type of thing.
I mean, I felt for y'all's group last year when Miami comes to town, they put up 70. I don't think anybody would have thought y'all would have been as dominant as you were at times this year. Like, what went into the transformation and how gratifying is it for Vance? Because I felt like he kind of unfairly took the brunt of that loss, and it was something that stuck around. I don't know if you felt like the like take me inside the fucking meeting room on Monday after a game like that, and then how did you guys get past it?
Yeah, I mean that one was tough. Like it's almost like you're in shock because like you're like the laugh like people still talk like like probably 10 years 20 years from now people are gonna be like, oh, you were like that's what they'll remember kind of thing. So we were all kind of like in shock like that just happened, and it was early in the year, so we were still trying to figure out kind of you know who we were going to be, who the guys were. Like it's a totally new regime, new everything.
Yeah.
Sean's in, new defense, everything. So um, yeah, it was definitely. And then the crazy thing people don't remember is we played the Bears the following week, and this is when everyone's like, "Oh, the Bears, they're gonna first overall pick. They're
Yeah,
no good, everything like that." I think we were down like 28-7 at halftime, so we're
right.
just like, "Dude, we just saw." Like it was like, "Fuck." Like we can't do anything.
Yeah,
Luckily, we ended up coming back from that, and that kind of second half comeback kind of like kickstarted us a little bit.
I remember that game.
Yeah, I think for us, it's just like guys realize like, look, like it's not just the old way is done. Like you're either in the like in the boat with us or you're out type of
Yeah.
thing, and that's why I think you saw some kind of tough decisions. It's like we're going all in with this. Like and the guys who bought in are still here. The guys who didn't are kind of gone. And I think that's why this year, we had total buy-in from April. Guys were like, look, we're going to master this scheme. We're going to master this installs, and that's why it's paid off.
With Sean Payton, man, like obviously I got to know him a little bit, playing against the Saints. I mean, shit, my last game they beat us down there, and then I got to know him when he worked with my dad. He's been on this show. Funny story about Sean, we didn't know how much time we had with him as a guest, and he gets on and he's like, no problem, I'm driving across Louisiana, like I'll stay on a while. Like 3 hours later,
Oh, he loves it, dude. He
he's still
loves
on,
it.
dude.
He
And it was the
loves
most
it.
entertaining 3 hours ever. So what were your like what were your thoughts when he kind of rolled the program out? Like were guys shocked at all by any of his ways of doing things? I know his camp is really hard, and I know he can be a little bit of a hard ass, but he can also take it too. I saw it with Bo Nix. He likes that back and forth. What's your thought on Sean Payton a couple years into this thing?
A quick like side note. So like talk about like with his stories and everything. This was this year. Like those media like kind of like meetings you do, the TV production meetings. I had so they're Friday. So it's everyone's like, oh, it's Fast Friday. Like let's kind of get out of here. And Sean, it's always Friday's not really that fast. Like we're still getting ready, which
Right.
it's good. Like but it just whatever. And I remember and I take like my Fridays, like I'm doing all my body work. Like I got like two,
Yes.
3 hours worth of body work stuff. I remember finishing. I text like our media guy, like, "Hey, like, just finished up." He's like, "Yeah, Sean's still going." I think it was like another hour and a half, and like Sean's went after practice. It was like 4.5 because like him and Nance are like best buds, like in
Yeah.
Romo. And then I start, and then he like came back and he's like, "Oh, I forgot one more story." And I was like, "I just want to go to Sean. I need to go to. I got my family. I want to go to bed." Like, you know,
Jesus.
he loves it. He loves it. He loves it. But
He
no,
loves
he's
talking ball.
he just loves ball, loves stories, and the stories are awesome. It's not like you're
Yeah.
just sitting there like, oh, like the stories are incredible.
Mm-hmm.
But no, he's the best. Like honestly, like it was really refreshing because I think Arizona we kind of didn't have that. Like he brought that structure, and I love Cliff. I'll speak
Yeah.
nothing but good things about Cliff. But it's just like the guys we had. Like it was like Sean just knew exactly what he wanted, and he knew like, look, I've won. My shit works, and he owned that shit. And like you walked
Mm-hmm.
around with like this, where it's like, okay, like yeah, like and I mean, give him credit. It works. Like it's
Yeah.
crazy. The camp is hard, but your body, like when you get to the season, like week one, you're like flying around. Like he takes care of you good. Like he really invests in all. He believes in the body work stuff. Like with Bo Lowry and everything. Like he's like, look, get the guys like
Yeah.
right. So he's like the perfect balance of like he'll be a hard ass when he needs to, and like it's non-negotiable. We're doing this, but it's at the same time he's like, look, like because he played. Like that's the thing. I don't think a lot of people realize. Like he was, in camp with the Bears a couple times. Like he gets it. So, but yeah, no, he's just he's a leader of men, and we really we're fortunate to have him running it.
You got to get broken down to be built up.
Yeah, yeah.
and,
Well,
and
I've only had the 6 days in a row of camp.
yeah,
Arizona, I mean, I was getting an off day here and there, which
yeah,
was crazy because I was 23 years old. So I was
right.
loving it.
God bless you.
Rookie, I wasn't. I think last preseason game, my rookie year, I didn't have to do it. I was like, oh, this is the best. And then week one, it's just like, when the
Damn.
bullets are flying,
Hell
damn, yeah,
yeah.
get you ready. But the 6 days, it's like it sucks. But like I feel like your body like gets used to it. So
Yeah.
like when the season comes around, you're like, oh, this is nothing,
Yeah.
So it's
Well, I
weird.
heard some stories, man. I heard some stories. How about him and Bo? Like Bo seems to be this mature guy that I know he's not 30 years old, but sometimes I forget he's not. I mean, he played a long time in college, which factors into that. But also, he just looks a little bit older. Does he kind of project that veteran presence at a younger age? Like, is that something y'all picked up on?
Yeah, no, he when he came in, he knew. I mean, he's been around the game his whole life.
Yeah.
I think his dad's a coach, everything
Yeah.
like that. And you could tell he just like he knew what he wanted, and he wanted it a certain way. And he's just like in the locker room, like busting ball. Like he's one of the guys like gets it, like you can take it type of thing.
Yeah.
Like some quarterbacks, it's like all right, like if you press too hard. Like we always joked, not to throw a stray, but Zach Ertz loves Zach to death. But like Zach, we had a joke like if you can only make fun of Zach twice on Wednesday. If you did 3 times, he wouldn't talk to you until Saturday.
Yes,
So,
that's so
so
fucking good and
yeah,
true.
yeah. So it was like there was a group. It was like JJ, Brett Fisher, Colt McCoy, and I. It's like, look, like has anyone said anything to him? Because we get two, 3 strikes you're out type of thing. Like Bo is not like Bo's the best. Like
Yeah.
he can give it. It's and like he gets like like he's the quarterback and stuff. So when you kind of bust his balls about that, he's a great dude. And no,
Yeah.
like I said, like he just from day one was like, look, like I know what I want. I can pick it up quick. Like, and he was calling out vets like, no, you got to run it this way. Like he's the real deal.
That's huge. Yeah, and
Yeah,
Cowboy, he's throwing to Cowboy's favorite player.
Courtland
yeah,
Sutton. Yeah, I mean, it's just like so cool to watch. Like, it's been a minute just since having a rookie quarterback or a young quarterback in that room, just be able to rip it. But it was so awesome to watch last year. And then Courtland being able, I'm sure, like helping him along, but also a vet presence for the whole team, right? Probably just like a steadying guy, leadership across the board, like probably helpful for. And he was ripping, I don't know if you saw, but they went to the Nuggets game and Bo Nix was ripping footballs, and he almost scared Courtland. I think there was a video of Courtland like jumping back, like, "Oh, dude, you almost caught that guy." But
yeah.
Courtland in your locker room, like, how great is it to have that vet leadership? He's been around for a minute.
No, he's incredible. He honestly is like one of the greatest people I've ever met in my life. He's actually my neighbor, so like him and his wife, like they're always hosting everything. Like they're the sweetest people, and just yeah, like I think like he's been our captain like obviously the past few years, everything like that, and like it's not even close. Like he gets the most vote. Like he's the guy. Like he's good at everything. Like this like gets it, sweetest guy, everything. So yeah, like the locker room they're like coming into, it was, you know, for Bo, it was like the perfect because everyone gets along, everybody there's no cliques, there's no nothing, everybody can talk to anybody. So for Bo coming in, I think that was huge because it was like for him, he could just, you know, from day one just be himself. It wasn't like, you know, I have to be something I'm not, or I kind of got to hide, or it's, you know, and all of us are kind of in that same age range. Like when I was in Arizona, it was like half the team was either in year 17 or half the team was on the rookie con. Like there was no in between. So it's kind of like, you know, how am I going to like, what are me and Andy Lee going to talk about? Like Andy Lee's 42 years old, like I'm 21, you know, type of thing. Like it's not like that. Like
Yeah.
this is, it's just everybody does everything. Like Aqib Talib, he came and I forget somebody asked him like, "Hey, like, what did you guys do in 15? Like, why was your defense so good?" He said, "We hung out all the time,
All the time.
outside of football, all the time. Like, you know, like it, honestly, he's like, we hung out like." Stop doing like extra football stuff, just hang out. It pays off. And like we kind of took that to heart. And it's like, oh, he was right, you know? And like
Yeah.
that's kind of why I think you saw this ascension this year.
And another like great skill guy that you have that has no ego, it seems. I met him at the Super Bowl is Pat Surtain. I mean, and probably the most boring player to watch in the league. And I mean that as a compliment because like he just you don't even have to look at him. Like you know what's happening over there.
Yeah. No, honestly, I've never, because like I play with like Pat P, Byron Murphy, like
Yeah.
what they put on Pat's table isn't like insane. And like it literally, we'll do the Wednesday depth chart meeting, everything. And like the names are this, and Pat, you'll just follow him. And, you know, it's like, dude, that's like Shamar Chase. What are we talking about? You just go follow him. Like, what are we talking about? You know, and like, and you'll see like the other, like the problem is they know it like Cleveland, like the problem with Cleveland was they would just motion. Like it's like they're running away. I've never
Right.
seen anything like that. Like
Right.
it's you know like people are like, you know, we don't even want to deal with it. Like we'll just put up people in the slot type stuff like that. So nah, and like you said, like he's like the most humble guy. He's just a silent assassin, and he's like I said, like he's like super easy to talk to. Just one of the guys you never would know he's defensive player of the year, future Hall of Fame or anything. Just he's just there. Yeah.
He is, and that the wide receivers lined up across from him are just there. That's it.
Yeah, literally.
That
Yeah.
is just about it, dude. A
Yeah.
couple quick ones for you before we get out of here. If you had a choice and you could wear the throwbacks, would you wear them every week?
Oh hell yeah. No, those things are incredible. Yeah. I get like, you know, you don't want to spoil a good thing, like you don't want to overuse it kind of thing, but I think if you wore those every week, it would be I don't think anyone would get bored about it.
No
Even if
one.
you brought back like the road ones, stuff like that. Yeah,
Yeah.
it would be pretty sick. Yeah.
Is there a buzz the week that y'all are wearing those things?
Oh yeah, no, they'll yeah, they pick out all the like they pick out the jerseys like and you it's circled like we're doing it like and
Yeah.
this year was cool because we did it versus like division rivals.
Right.
So like I think like Raiders and Chiefs so and they never kind of change their jerseys. So it
Right.
honestly and they'll redo the field like how it was with the Orange Crush. Like they'll do the same like there's no 50-yard logo. It's just, you know, the back end zone just got like the lines on it type of stuff. So it's like you really feel like you're playing, you know, in 1970. It's pretty sweet.
Quinn Meinerz, what's he like? What is that guy into off the field? What kind of guy is Quinn Meinerz? That's what he's a great guard. I know that, but I'm really curious about what that dude is up to in general.
That's the thing is like he is like the most interesting man in the world. But like in the locker room, like again, one of the guys. But the cool thing is he and I both like watches. I just don't have the balls to buy a watch. But so we'll be on the plane and it's like a 3 hour flight. In the 3 hours, it's just him, Ben Powers, DJ Jones, and I just going through like all the watches. And then like 2 weeks, he comes in with the watch. You're like, dude, what the fuck? He's like, what? I wanted to treat myself. Like, it's just, yeah. But no,
Well,
he's yeah, like you said, like, I mean, he definitely like his away time is his, and he enjoys it, and he's got his hobbies, but he's got these two beautiful dogs he'll bring to the facility. Like, I remember because we had the two workout groups during OTAs. We had like an 8 and a 10, and
yeah.
I do the 10, and he'd finish up at the 8 o'clock, and he'd just release these dogs into the field. And these things are like, I think Malinois or whatever
Oh,
they
they're
are,
like
Shepherd,
they're
like they're
like
like
the
guard dogs.
yeah.
And just seeing them run, and they just run right by, like you're like, I don't feel safe right now.
No, I mean, and why does
Like,
he need fucking the most ferocious dogs? Like, dog, who's
yeah,
running up on Quinn Meinerz?
I was gonna say, man, but he is the like when I say the best guard in football, it's not even close. Like
Damn,
going up,
dog.
and we played some guys this year. Like those
Yeah,
training camp days, like I've never like had to actually like be super focused on like just a regular fan block
yeah.
because of just how strong he is and smart he is with his hands and stuff. He's a freak. Yeah, he's
So
he's
you can really
incredible.
feel that play strength. Like
Dude,
it's just
he's athletic. Like he
yeah,
he has it all, and he's like I said, like in the locker room, like everybody loves him. One of the
yeah,
guys,
yeah.
always just for the team. Like really, really good dude.
Loves
Yeah,
having his belly out.
yeah. He needs to. Gotta let it breathe.
Let that
It's
thing
got a mind
breathe.
of its own. Yeah.
I didn't peg him as a timepiece guy, but he's certainly
Oh no, he's
interesting.
got style, man. He can. Yeah, when
Well,
he's got a lot of shades on in his watch.
there we
He's
go.
he's ready to fuck some shit up. Yeah.
All right, what's tougher, tackling Josh Allen or Lamar Jackson, and what makes tackling those two guys tough?
I would say Lamar. I played him twice in college. And I've played him twice in the pros, and I think
Yeah,
I've gotten him like once, maybe twice. Like he's
really.
just, I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, he's just because the thing with Lamar, the hardest hit I've ever had in my career was from Lamar in college. Was like we were both like racing to the sideline, and like at the last second he lowered his head, and I was seeing like everything was like a tint of green for like a week
No
straight. Like
shit.
yeah, dude, like he looks like this like just skinny guy. Like I don't know what his bone density is. He can hit.
Concrete.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, he's just a ball player, dude. Yeah, yeah. I mean, Josh is no joke either because Josh is 250. I mean, it's Derrick Henry basically 2 point like similar. Yeah. So, but just Lamar. I mean, just for how many times I've played him, just trying to get to him, it's like okay, yeah, it's
I'd
different.
rather go. I'd rather try to chase down the guy that's going to at least give me a shot, and it's going to be really hard to get him on the ground
Yeah,
than the guy I might not touch.
yeah. Because I'm 295, so for me, it's like all right, 295 versus 250. If I got a shot, like I'll take my chances, type of
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
But yeah, like with Lamar, like if he's even just like senses it, doesn't even see you, just like feels it, you're like, it's like, all right, good luck to, you know, Cooper, Benito, like go get him.
Yeah, it's like somebody else.
Yeah.
All right. Last one for you, brother. We got 2019 NFL Draft. I just saw this today. I didn't realize how many damn good D linemen were in there. Who's your favorite? Like, you've got like, am I looking at this correctly? Nick Bosa, Quinnen Williams. Is this your draft?
Yeah, this is my draft.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, freaking Ed Oliver, Josh Allen, jeez, Brian Burns, Dexter Lawrence. Golly,
Yeah. Jeffrey
Jeffrey Simmons.
Simmons. Max Crosby was in the fourth. Yeah.
I mean, I don't know what the question is. Is that fucking unreal or what? It's
Yeah,
like,
well, so that's the funny thing was like I mean relatively like I fell like I thought I was gonna be like maybe have a chance and like kind of like where like Seattle picked in that draft or
yeah,
like in the second round, and I was kind of like these guys are going off the board, and I'm like what the fuck, and then you kind of realize like oh like yeah I mean it's a toss up like
you're a top
you
10
can't
pick in
yeah
in another draft, bro. I'm just
yeah, well,
telling you.
yeah, but honestly, like the way like those like the contract situation worked out for me, it
Yeah,
actually benefited me because I didn't have that fifth year option. So it's almost like I could double dip a little bit, where it's like I took the shorter term deal. I know all these guys would kind of get, these big 20 plus, 25 plus deals, and then, kind of prove myself a little bit more, and then the market only goes up type of thing. So
Yeah.
for me, it actually like contract wise played out. Obviously, like when it happens, you're like, fuck this, da 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 da. But in the
Yeah.
long term, I mean, your career's just starting, so
Yeah.
it worked out well. Yeah.
I lied. One last thing. Patrick Peterson just retired. You got to play with him. I'll never forget the first time we ever played him. He was a rookie. He walked us off on a punt return for a touchdown after playing like incredible defense for 60 minutes. And, you just knew he was going to be a Hall of Famer. What kind of vet was he to have? Because he seems like such a positive presence in a building. And I think that's the one thing that really makes me respect him is the way he seemed to carry himself. What was it like walking into a locker room where he's one of the vets? And what are your parting shots on Patrick Peterson as he retires this summer?
Yeah, no, like you kind of nailed it on the head. Like he's just always like positive guy, no matter like when things are going bad. Like he kind of just like always kept us consistent. And as like a young guy like coming in like I was like it's Patrick Peterson. Like this is Pat P. Like I remember from the LSU days, everything. I mean, you could make a case he's like the original Travis Hunter. Like he had some
Yeah.
offensive packages when he first came into the league type of thing. And he was, always like super, like to myself, Jalen Thompson, Byron Murphy, super
Right.
open. Hey, like you guys need anything. I lucked out. I had some really good vets. I had him, I had Corey Peters, I had Terrell Suggs, Chandler Jones. So it was really fortunate to learn from some really good pros, kind of how to act and everything like that.
Hell yeah, man. Well, Zach, dude, we appreciate you coming on. Really, really generous with your time, but this flew by, dude, and hope you come on again. And next year, bro, Pro Bowl, All Pro, Super Bowl, let's do it all, bro. All right,
Oh yeah, I love
you don't have
it.
to you don't have to say anything about the last thing. That was for Cowboy Reed, so
Yeah.
Do it all.
do it
There
all,
we
bro.
go. Love it, love it, love it.
Appreciate you, dude.